Welcome back to Opinionated, the show where we give you opinions about manga we're reading or anime we're watching. Today we're going to talk about Beastars, more specifically the second season. And it is my opinion that weebs become furries if they watch this series. Okay. Not the biggest fan of Beastars, but there are two other people in this channel who are, and Audi, in his infinite wisdom, has finally spoken out on one of his favorite series ever in anime. Or what? It is his favorite series in anime. He thinks nothing is better than Beastars. So while the second season of... the script written by Audi, these are not my personal opinions. While the second season for Beastars has been out for a while, it finally came to India a couple of weeks ago. Having seen the trailer alone, all I could think was that it was going to be more action-packed than the last season. Well, after watching it, I enjoyed the action more than the previous season, but there were a lot of other things to it too. So this will be a two-part episode. Oh shit, where I give my opinions on the characters and other aspects of Beastars Season 2. In this one, we'll be covering the main characters. Spoiler alert from here on out, as we'll be getting into the finer details. We also assume that you've seen both seasons if you're watching this, so if you haven't, then please go watch both seasons and come back, because you're totally going to remember to come back after watching 2 seasons of anime. Let's start with Legoshi, our protagonist. At the end of season 1, he had to fight off the Shishigumi in order to save Haru, his rabbit love interest. He's a unique predator that uses his strength to protect herbivores rather than eating them. More like eating them out. So that whole scenario was a great moment of growth for Legoshi, and it showed that even a wolf that didn't have meat could go toe-to-toe with gun-wielding lions. Which brings us to season 2, where Legoshi is still relatively phased from the events that happened, and he still doubts his abilities to protect. Now in season 2, he goes on a strange mission of sorts to find out who Them's killer was. The case has been assigned to a gigantic rattlesnake called Six Eyes, who creepily patrol the area surrounding the murder. She sees people who come close to the murder site, and she keeps a watchful eye on those who she suspects were criminals. Legoshi was no exception. Being a predator and a close friend, he's a strong suspect, so you'd imagine that when the snake managed to get a hold of him, she would interrogate him and ask him about the murder. Nope, animal instinct kicks in, and Six Eyes wants to suddenly coil and crush a student to get the answers out of them. Seriously, I don't know what this show is all about. I know it's a serious case and all, but this is a world of animals with a sense of law and order. I'm pretty sure the terrorist style of interrogation on random people isn't the best way of handling problems though. In a weird twist of events, as if the events so far weren't weird enough, Legoshi starts stroking her skin and claims how she has problems like the others as well, and it somehow strikes a nerve. This snake is supposed to be the only line of defense for the whole school, and some sweet words of seduction were able to sway her decisions? Maybe it works for drama, but bear in mind, this was an investigation, not some lover spat. So it seems out of place that a stone cold character just melts away like that, like a snake shedding her skin. That was me, that was in the script, that was me, that was all me. Then, in a classic drama move, the snake just runs away from the whole ordeal like a shy schoolgirl, and Legoshi tails, that was Adi, sorry, her all along. Six Eyes then takes him to the murder site, where she then proclaims that the murder is one that even she can't solve, and that it would be a problem if next year's students see this. Why didn't she just tell it to him in front of the laundromat? Why the extra stuff? So she decides to enlist Legoshi as a detective. Something feeling off yet? Yes, that felt like Audi talking to me through the script. Let's sum it up. A co-ed school with herbivores and carnivores has a murder case on them because of a carnivore, and they decided to cover it up because it would ruin their reputation. But I'm pretty sure that in such a world, such a school would have a more efficient policing system than a gigantic mystical snake that keeps carnivores in check at all times and gets seduced by other carnivores. And speaking of policing, where is the police? How is it that nobody in the entire school decided that something was a bit off about how a murder in the school got next to no attention from the authorities? How did no one just go, hello, beep boop, hello, police, please, murder happened here, police, excuse me, could you come? But that would be a sensible solution, wouldn't it? And in a drama world of furries, apparently sensible solutions are not feasible. Nothing makes sense anymore. I don't want to do this. Instead, the responsibility is passed down to Legoshi, who isn't even an adult, mind you. He's a student. He was selected because his morals were strong. Now, this might sound like a hot potato, but I, as an Audi, actually did enjoy Legoshi's character more in the second season than in the first. He is more reserved and he makes more level-headed decisions while trying to battle his need for meat. He even goes full Forlock Holmes when he gets attacked and decides to French kiss the attacker, allowing him to remember the scent and taste of saliva. In fact, he goes back to the panda to train under him and become stronger without having to depend on meat. It shows his determination and how earnest Legoshi is with his ideals by basically kissing a bear. Until we reach the end, that is. We'll discuss that with another character. Now let's go on to Haru, the slutty rabbit. She surprisingly takes a major backseat in the whole season. While she does make appearances, she doesn't have a pivotal role in this whole story. As of the season, Haru acts as the love interest of Legoshi and only has the occasional conversation with him. There were times where she interacts with Juno, who displays a rivalry to Haru, but eventually mellows out and makes friends with her. We could make a case that Haru's place in the story allows for Legoshi's growth as a teenage wolf going through college, no sexual undertones implied. But it seems right that she wasn't the focus in season 2 because the one glaring thing that wasn't given enough attention was the murder of Tem and the mysteries around it. Now let's talk about the Six Eyes Snake. I know I've already said all I could about her, but that's my problem. That's all I can say about her. After the whole drama that I described of stroking skin and whatnot, there is no more mention of her. We see her again for one scene later, but that's about it. Her presence is pretty much non-existent, which explains why predators have their way at night. No sexual undertones there either. I feel like she would have been a really interesting character, sort of black and white in morals, but there was no mention of her in the first season and barely anything in the second. She was just revealed and that was it. She could have played a stronger role in trying to catch the culprit. After all, she was the one responsible for it. Not only because she was like the whole security, but she was a reptile in a school full of mammals and avians. She held great envy when looking at Legoshi since she was born without hands or legs, which shows insight into the reptilian world of this universe. Speciesism, you know. Not only that, but her body wasn't humanoid at all. She was an actual snake and moved like one too. She could have been the only one to move outside school grounds to catch students that go to the black market. Maybe she could have been shown as the shadowy boogeyman that the students only heard of and feared. Tons of maybes, but it's a shame that not a lot of light was shed on Six Eyes. I don't even know what kind of joke that is, okay? I don't know. Now we come to Rui, the character who left off at a cliffhanger. The illustrious reindeer who boasted himself as a future Beastar had left us at season 1 thinking he was dead. But surprise, surprise, he comes back. Oh, wait, that wasn't supposed to happen. How does a reindeer literally enter a literal lion's den and come out almost unscathed? Of course, the answer is that he became their boss. Huh? Excuse me, hello? Reindeer became boss? Okay. So nothing makes sense here. Yeah, evidently killing the Shishigumi's boss doesn't get you killed if you're the future Beastar, that is. The right-hand man of the now dead boss decides to put Rui as the new head of the Shishigumi so the group can rise in popularity among the herbivores. After the government released an order to partition herbivores and carnivores in many places, the mafia groups needed ways to stay close to the herbivores, and putting Rui as the head was probably a really smart move. I mean, these mafia gangs have tarnished reps as carnivores feeding off the misery of herbivores, so this move only stands to gain favor from them, apparently. That being said, Rui now has to act like a lion amongst other lions, and by that I mean literally. He, a reindeer, had to eat meat in order to be considered their leader. So much for herbivores. And he did so, albeit with great difficulty. He had to puke it out, obviously, since there was no nutrition that a deer could get from meat, nor are they able to digest meat in the first place, so he ate it symbolically. But with Rui at its head, the Shishigumi were actually thriving. Business was booming for them, and they were able to gain a lot more territory under their wing. Aside from the forced change of lifestyle, he seemed to have accepted his path as the leader of the Shishigumi, since it went along with his goal of absolute power. He even abandoned his old life for the new one, since it was best to cut off ties. But then he ends up finding Legoshi in the black market. Rui thought that he was nothing more than a carnivore who ate meat in the end, but after inviting Legoshi to a dinner and seeing that he didn't have any meat at all, Rui has this weird flashback of emotions that make him wonder if the decisions he's making are the right ones, if breaking off ties from his old life was the right thing to do, and he was clearly conflicted. In the end, he chose to leave the Shishigumi because he wanted to support his friend in a fight. Okay, last I checked, leaving a mafia gang isn't as easy as it sounds. You know, if my gangster movie and Bacano knowledge is correct, then you can't just leave without facing some consequences. You owe a debt, and just running away is not an option. However, Rui, a deer among lions, decides to just drop his role as the leader and become a cheerleader for someone else. Yeah, I know it got really weird towards the end, says Adi, but he's on drugs. This thing was weird from start to finish right here. But all the success in group seemed to have made a soft spot in the lions. They even went so far as to take measures in case one of their own wants to eat Rui. Ultimately, he does nearly get eaten. But another member of the gang intercepts and Rui is saved. I mean, he got saved by quite a stretch. I leave it here for now. Thank you, I'm finally done. And continue this in the next episode of God damn it, where I talk about the remainder of the characters and my opinions on the animation and movement. That's it for this episode. Like, share, follow. I am done. Bye.